I'm coming to you with a quick project today. It's been a while since I've done a quick one, and I hope this is it. I got a show this weekend, and I got to make up, I think, about three more of these to get my inventory where I want it to be. Garden trowel out of a railroad spike. Makes an awesome tool. It's actually one of the things I'm most happy to sell or proudest to sell, because it is a very awesome tool. The way I sell it, people look at it and say, that's the last garden trowel you're ever going to need. The only thing you could possibly do to that thing is lose it. So let's go ahead and get this spike heated up. We'll turn it into a garden trowel hopefully as quickly as possible. I'm going to polish this handle up. I like to sell it nice and polished, mirror polish on that. I'm just going to put the shape in that I need, save me a little bit of grinding effort, not a lot. And then what I'm going to do is try to stretch this first couple inches out as far as I can, because this is one project where you almost don't have enough material in the spike. So we're going to thin that handle out a little bit. Try to pick up a halfway decent handle without taking away without taking away any mass from that blade. Again, I try to get as much as I can without messing up the head of that spike. Alright, then we'll throw a pineapple twist on there. I do the pineapple twist because it's a good ambidextrous, non-spinning twisting, you know what I mean? It's a good gripper, that's for sure. Even though it's extra work. It's like just a plain old twist would be one heat, one twist, done. This is going to be one heat, 4 lines, next heat, twist, and flatten. Next heat, 4 lines, next heat, twist. I mean, it's just adds so much to it, but I think it's important. Step 1, 4 lines, right down the center. This is where I wish I had my good gloves, because I could do this with my thumbs. I haven't got no thumbs on my. Don't move on me. Come on, I gotta do this. You gotta do this in one heat, otherwise you're really messing yourself up. And I'm taking much too long. But let's hope we can get it done. Not bad. One more. And the things, you gotta do everything as efficiently as you can to make money on these. But they do sell. That isn't hard. Alright, heat up for the twist. Alright, if you get the right heat on this one, you can do the next 2 steps in one step here. But you gotta have the right heat. So we go with the minimum amount of handle you dare give this thing. And try not to waste a lot of time like I am finding that spot. You do a 1 full twist. First one of the day. I don't have my things adjusted. So 1 full twist, and you want to be straight when you get done. Alright, you don't want any goofing around, any cockeyedness going on. And then, if you did that fast enough, come back to the anvil. Bring you back. Can you see me? And then put the flats in. So all 4 sides get flattened out again. See it? 4 sides flat. So 2 steps in 1 heat, that makes it a semi-efficient step. 2 more heats and the handle's done. Wait for a motorcycle to stop running, but so we heat this thing up. Next step, put the lines back in all 4 sides. Again, you try to line up the beginning of both lines that you can see. Oh, close. Sorry about the motorcycle noise. It's actually not even a motorcycle, it's a freaking moped. But everybody's got to make a living, so not his fault, his bad timing. again, we're just putting the 4 lines back in, and then back to the fire for the last heat. Almost too cold. That's it. Back. Yeah, now he drives away. Sons of bitches. All right, one more heat. Handle part's done. So again, it's what, 3 or 4 more heats than just throwing a twist on it. So maybe a twist would be a smart thing to do, but in reality, it's 10-15 more minutes times 100 of them. Holy cow! But still, you know, quality, right? You're in control of the quality, and I want that particular texture. For the final twist, put it right back where you had it. And I always go in the same orientation that I did last time because you want to twist in the opposite direction. So this will give you a little better indication of how to remember. 1/2 twist. And now we got to straighten her up. Oh, man, she's really crooked fried here. There we go. It didn't hurt much, I hope. Usually I don't have to do that. That one turned out pretty damn crooked. You want it straight at this point, or pretty darn straight, because you don't want to come back to it. So you might go with a wooden mallet. Sorry you can't see, but I gotta keep my heat going here. Yeah, this is the crookedest one I've ever made. But anyway, with a willow wire brush, and now you have a pineapple twist ready to go. That's the easy part. Now you're ready to hammer. Motorcycle. Now you need an aggressive fuller going on here, and you need to stretch that sucker like crazy. Oh, stop missing. It's been a bad day today. Fuller both sides. Best you can with that one heat. And also you got to think about length, you know, width about a little bit about this. So sometimes you'll put it over the horn and stretch it out. Heat it up again. All right, so now after that first fuller, I go to the, if you have a rounding hammer, that's awesome. This is the most rounded thing I have, because I want it to stretch kind of in 2 directions. I want to grow length and width if I can. This aggressive round really allows me to pull this out. You can do it with a normal hammer. It just takes a lot of time no matter what. But I'm trying to stretch out the width, get that center thin. And because it's round, it'll also give me some length. I work my ass off when I do this because I know how much time it takes to finish them up. You got to. Back to the heat. With a normal hammer, and try to stretch that out and start evening those sides a little bit. The more you can shape that point, the less you got to grind off later. So I'm feeding the sides now. I'm going to very much try to keep both sides the same if I can. And even more importantly, trying to keep it centered right now on that handle is what the big problem is. Because that's a pain in the neck to fix. Alright. We aren't looking too bad. All right, this waviness over on that side I don't like. We'll clean that up on the next heat. And now, when you get done, I try to clean this up so there's no hammer marks. It's impossible. I just can't do it with this amount of abuse and this kind of time. So you want to get your hammer marks cleaned up the best you can in the next heat or two. Again, it's a heck of a lot of work, but it's one of the tools that I'm proud to sell. It's a good quality tool. Finish this up, clean it up at the same time. I gotta really start feeding some of this middle on those waves to work those out. get as thin as possible. Not that I want it as thin as possible, I want it as wide as possible. And that's where the thin as possible comes into play. Alright. So if I have to sacrifice hammer marks, I'll do it on the back, which this is the front. Alright, so as I'm black hammering this, I'll hammer on the back. Try to pull these corners out if you can, get a little meat there too. And that'll help flatter, you know, like the handle will work as a flatter on the front. So we're not looking too bad. I'm okay with the thickness, I'm okay with the size. We're a little bit going off at an angle, so I'm gonna have to fix that. And this is where, if things work well, man, you can save a lot of time. But very often this handle's off to one side, or in this case, it's not a totally easy fix, I don't think. You might take 3 or 4 heats to fix this. So you gotta, once if you're making these, you gotta figure out how to keep those straight. That I did wrong so far. Number one is I'm not straight, so I'm gonna do what I can to kind of get that blade over here a little bit. Just to bring her down the center, and that we got lucky, that fixed easily. Widening this back gives you a nice top to that shovel. But the next thing I did wrong is this is the front, and I like the front to be on the downside. You see how this dips in here? I like that on the front. It gives me more of a scoop. So I need to turn around. I got to heat this again. Got some of those hammer marks. And then push that thing down, which I could have done in this heat. I was talking to her, damn it. But she heats fast now. That down, I'm just going to come up on the anvil a little bit and right there, place one hammer hit. Well, place a few hammer hits and see how now I'm flat on the back. And I got the dip in the front, which is where I want it. So now I've gotten crooked again. We're okay with the angle in that I want, because the least you have to do in the last few steps, the cleaner your thing's going to turn out. Alright, that's not bad for a start. I might throw all these hammer marks here, but a little bit more over here. And you know, you guys slam me for hitting black. It's a hot black, dude. This is not unmovable. I'm not fracturing it yet, not yet. About another 5-10 seconds, and then maybe I will. Alright, I'm happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and forge up 2 more of these. I want to make 3 today, and then I'll come back and show you the next step. Guys, like I said, I forged up 3 more of these things, or 3 total. I already have a few of them. So what I need to do now is I need to cut this edge smooth, bring the point down where I want, and try to get this as smooth as possible. Got to grind off the end, get them polished up like a mirror, and then it's going to go back into forge. I'm going to use a propane forge because it's easier and cleaner. Once I heat this up, I got to mold it into the shape of a funnel. So I'll run through a quick grind for you. The grinding isn't horrible until you have that damn curve in the thing. Once that curve's in, then grinding becomes a bit of a torture. But I'll show you what we do. So that's what you do there. A little bit offset here, but we'll deal with it. I think it'll be alright. This is how I do my end. some of you guys have seen my ends before. That's what I start with. That's 80 grit. I go to 120 and probably up to 300 by the time I get done to get this mirror. So that's kind of how it works. So let me finish grinding this up. I'll be back. Before I jump up any grits, we're going to start putting a grind on this. And quite honestly, sometimes it seems easier to hit this with a flap disc on an angle grinder to get it where you want. You're not going to get it perfect, and when you go to bend it, it's going to even be worse. But we'll do what we can over here. This is the pain in the ass. That's why you need to be good with your hammer, because I want this thing 100% ground down, but I'm not going to get that far with these hammer marks. And that's, people don't seem to mind those, but from a functional standpoint, the smoother this is, the better this shovel's going to work. You know what I'm saying? So, but at this point, I'm going to go ahead and yeah, it's clean enough. Actually, no, I'm going to take this up to about 300 on the flat side. Because once I bend that, it's so much more difficult to get in there and to grind it. So we're going to go up to 300. I'll be back when I'm done. So I bring this up to 300, and again, I wish I could have gotten everything out of there, but more often than not, I can't. Because I'm trying to make these things so damn quick. I mean, I don't know. It's not going to affect the function that much, but it's that battle, you know, the battle that you have between what the hell is somebody going to pay for this amount of time you put into it. I mean, literally, it's going to take me an hour, at least an hour, to do one of these. So it's a pretty expensive item when you get done. But it's probably the best garden trowel anybody can buy, for sure. All right, guess what we do next? We heat this sucker back up, mess up everything we just did, and then form this shape. So I'll show you how that's done. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to throw this in the propane forge. I find that propane kind of gives me a cleaner result. And now here's what we do. We heat the sucker up just about orange, just enough to move it. It doesn't need to be white hot. And then I'm going to throw it in this jig. Now this jig used to be 2 parts before this morning, but I'll slide that sucker in like that, one hit, and what's going to happen, if you can see, all right, is that I got 2 pipes with a spot to hammer on, and it'll just form that wedge for me. So hopefully this will work. Like I said, I just put the spring on it. Let me heat her up. So we're not looking for super hot, because the hotter you get it, the more scale's going to want to build up on it. And before you know it, you got a lot more clean than you needed to have. Put it in there, center it up. Well, that works a lot better than it did when it was loose. It ain't too snabby if you ask me. So how well did Chandler temper that freaking spring? God damn it. Alright, sorry for my hissy fit, but there you have it. And that's all the curve you need. That makes an awesome digging trowel. It works great in the garden. Now all I need to do is clean her up. A little time with the welding. Hopefully I put enough heat in the rest of the spring. I tempered it, but I didn't. I kind of just did a big guessing, but got it, and I guessed wrong. Back down to 220, and I'm going to go ahead and just redo everything that's ugly as hell now. I can easily get this outside ground. I can easily get this end ground. It's this inside thing that's a problem. A wheel with the exact diameter might help, but I'll show you a little trick once I'm there. I'll show you a little bit, and then I'll shut you up. So like I said, there is easy. Here, pain in the ass. I'll show you a trick, or no, this is not too bad on the back here. This is the pain. I'll show you a trick I learned though. Trick right there. It took me a long time to figure this out. Again, the problem is your curve isn't going to be exact. So even if you had the right diameter wheel, it's still, it just looks crappy when you get done. So, you know, something soft, like a soft wheel, something like that would work. So I found, you know, I know about these abrasive wheels, and these are flexible enough where that sucker will get right in there. But you know, I didn't want to run it on a drill, so I took one of the old motors I had from an auction, and I was able to find a drill chuck drive unit that fit right onto those threads. So I don't know. Need a tool, make a tool. I guess that's what that one's going to be. But this works. It's not as good as I'd like, but I'll tell you, it's a hell of a lot faster, and it does well enough. It makes me happy. So I have two grits, I think like an 80 and a 120 or something like that. But you see how well that does? Gets right in there. I need to go out and get the 220 grit because I like it a little shinier than the 120 leaves it. With that flexible brush on this, you know, this powerful motor, so you're not messing with a drill, it works really well. So good luck. Find something that'll let you get inside there like that and clean that off. That would take me 5 times longer on the belt grinder trying to get in there and figure out what to do. So I just wish I had a 220 here. I don't actually have it anymore. I don't have it at all. But you get the idea. You got to clean that inside out. That's the most important part. That's the part where the dirt will stick to the shovel if you don't do a good job. You know what I mean? And there you have it. I will get to a 220. I think they sell a 220 wheel, and that should put a pretty good luster on it. But that's where we are now. I'm just going to spend a little time on the buffing wheel. I got to wire brush the handle, some time on the buffing wheel to clean it up, and then I'll be back to say goodbye. Alright guys, that's the end of that one. Let me get the sun out from behind you, for crying out loud, all the things I got to think about. Alright, she's all done. Done as she's going to be. Alright, so she shines up well. Again, if I had a 220 wheel for that new wire system, or that whatever you call that thing, that abrasive wheel, cleaned up the handle with a wire brush, everything else gets polished to a mirror. People see this thing, you know, they recognize it. It's a railroad spike, so that's one of the great things about it. That this thing, you're never going to break it. Walk into a hardware store, look at what's on the shelf. There's some good ones, but there's very few. Most of them are junk. Like I say, when I sell these things, and I sell them for $40, I'll let you know straight up. So, and they sell well enough for me to keep making. That's one railroad. That's one garden trowel I don't think you could break if you wanted to. The only thing you could do to it is lose it. Now, I'll either clear coat it or I'll cover it with linseed oil or something like that. One of the levels of protection. It's going to rust on them. You have to tell them that. Keep it clean. But it'll be a great tool for a long time. Alright, thanks for watching. I hope this video turned out to be a little shorter than my other ones. And we'll catch you on the flip side. I have 3 more of these to do, a fro, 10 horseshoe hearts, and I don't know what else. And it's 4 o'clock. It's going to be a late night. Just loading up's a pain in the ass. Bye.